right, welcome back to the super-centex podcast, talking Central Texas high school football. And with me, as always, are my friends DJ Ramirez, Chad Conine. How are y'all doing?
Pretty good.
Yeah, good.
Best
good.
little
Week 9. Week 10. Are we in week 10?
We are in week 10. Week 10 of 11. Yeah. And then we get into the good stuff. So, yeah, we're not to the playoffs quite yet, y'all. But to a certain extent, we might as well be. Or at least at the point of the season where the games have pretty significant implications. Here's a list of just a few that are showdowns for district championships. So Pflugerville Weiss at Midway, Madisonville at Connally, and Whitney at Grandview. How would you guys rank these games this way? Most likely for our local team to win and least likely. So who wants to start?
I think
go ahead and jump in there, DJ.
Yeah. I think Connally's probably got a good chance of beating Madisonville. They did last year on the road. I mean, obviously both teams are different than they were last year, but I still think it'll be pretty close. And if Connally's got a chance to beat them, it's gonna be at home this week. Then I mean, Whitney, Grandview are like right there as well. I mean, just the way that West almost beat Grandview. If they hadn't, had their own little mistakes, and really the biggest one had to be that face mask at the end of the first quarter that, forced them to kick a field goal that was blocked. But Whitney's just been on a roller train. So yeah, I think they've got a pretty good chance of coming out with the district championship and staying undefeated. Now, I haven't seen Weiss. Obviously, I've heard a lot about them. And Midway's definitely improved over the last, month. I don't really know. I don't have the information to really tell you, Midway's going to come up with a share of the title and they're going to be Weiss. And
to me, that one feels most like the third.
A long shot.
Yeah, I mean, it would have to be just on paper. If we're going on paper, and even as one who has seen Midway a lot and knows how they've been trending up, I mean, it's going to be tough to beat Weiss. Chad, how would you rank them?
Well, I'm wearing a Wildcat. We're wearing a light blue Wildcats hat this morning.
Okay,
right? That would be the Villanova Wildcats. That I picked up this hat when I was visiting my cousin in Philadelphia this summer. By the way, that's a non sequitur, I suppose. But anyway, just explaining my Wildcats hat. But the Whitney Wildcats are the ones that I had the most confidence in.
I agree.
You two expressed. I think I'm looking at schedule results, and I'm looking for a reason that tips me towards Connally on this. But when I made the picks, I was kind of the same way. I feel like Connally has the players to like swing a game like this, like to buck what the trends have been like, and just come in there and put one on Madisonville. But on the other hand, if you look at the way the season is trending, you have to say that Madisonville is a significant favorite in this one.
I don't know if significant's the right word, but a favorite for sure. But I went with Connally, and I know
you picked Connally, and you were telling me the underdogs that you picked this week, and I felt like two of them were legit toss-ups, and I feel like Connally is like I expressed to you yesterday, a genuine underdog in this game.
Yeah, as DJ said, they are playing at home. That's something. They always say being the home team's good for 3 points. Well, okay. Here's why I picked Connally. So a couple, maybe last week they were coming off their bye week. And in talking with Terry Garrick before that game, I was like, what'd you do on your bye week? And like a lot of teams, they took it back to basics, right? And he said, yeah, we went back to July 31st, you know, I mean, and I feel like that for Connally was probably a good thing, you know, like, you know, Connally doesn't need to coast on its talent. They need to focus on its technique and really just do the little things right, because if you do all that, then the talent is gonna, you know, is really gonna shine.
Right.
So that's why I liked Connally. But I'm with you on Whitney. I just think they're rolling. Obviously, DJ, you saw Grandview last week, but like you said, West almost beats them. I think Whitney's playing, you know, a lot better
Whitney's
than West.
entire body of work this season looks good. Let's not get too enamored with the way they've rolled over these Dallas charter schools, because just about everybody rolls over those Dallas charter schools.
Fair enough. I mean, they're not going to score. They're not going to score 85 on Grant.
And in terms of, I didn't mention the Midway game, but let me just say I was having coffee this morning and ran into a Midway parent. And this particular Midway parent did not express a lot of confidence in the teams Midway has beaten the last 3 weeks.
No, that is absolutely fair. Okay. They've beaten Cove, Temple, and Bryan. Bryan has some playmakers. Its quarterback was pretty shaky the other night. But here's what I will say in favor of Midway. The vibe right now is really good on that team. Like they're just, you know, they're feeling it. And, you know, they get 2 defensive touchdowns late in that game, 3 altogether. They're making plays on both sides of the ball. You know, if they can get some points early and, you know, put a little pressure on Weiss, you know, they've got talent. They can make it a game. But this is clearly, you know, going to be the toughest test of the stretch that they've had here. And I picked Weiss, so we'll see. So another team that can clinch an outright district championship on Friday night is Lorena. So we talked about the Leopards' impressive performance in the win over Franklin on the After Dark, but I want to talk a little bit more about Braylon Henry. So Braylon started out the season, the 2022 season at linebacker, and then he moved to safety, and he was a second team super-centex player. We had him on our preseason super-centex team as a first team player at that position. But lately he has impacted games most at his running back position. So rushed for 106 yards, solid against China Spring in the season opener. But then the next 2 games, he had 14 carries for 72 yards, you know, whatever. In the 6 games since, this is what he's gone for: 192, 253, 288, 131, 236, 255, and 17 touchdowns. So is Braylon one of those guys that wherever you put him, he's going to make an impact? And are there other Central Texas players you feel like could be that guy? What do you think?
Well, he's still, I mean, he's in there pretty much every play of the game, or a lot of plays in the game. Their ability to use Blaze Sledgehammer has been big as well at running back. But you know, the other night, I mean, he against Franklin, you could put the ball in his hands and it was sometimes a big play waiting to happen. Or a lot of the time they put the ball in his hands and it was a big play waiting to happen. And yeah, he has a huge impact on the game. The other thing is, and I think this is what makes Lorena so good, and Lorena, a team that could go in and beat number 1 Franklin, is that if you commit everybody to stopping Braylon Henry, Caden Roberts in their passing game will beat you. You know, the other night, game-winning drive, Caden Roberts hit a couple of key passes, conversion passes that kept the drive moving. And if not for that, if the other team can stack it and you know, key on Braylon Henry, and that passing game is not like that, then they don't win that game, right? So it's a very complimentary situation they've got going there in a good way. And let's not overlook Caden Roberts' 1,700 passing yards this season, plus 600 rushing yards. But in terms of one player impacting a game in Central Texas, there's probably a few in the category with Braylon, but he's kind of one of our superstars right now. He's been around for a long time playing for Lorena, and you know, has lots of skins on the wall, as they say.
Yeah, no doubt. DJ?
Yeah, I mean, and if you remember, I mentioned in my column this week, I feel like we're just gonna have to pick names out of a hat to pick super-centex, because we've got a lot of really good guys, especially in that offensive category. But when I got to talk to Braylon when they beat West earlier in the season, and he's just one of those kids that's got locker room presence. I feel like he's a leader, both on the field, in the locker room, probably in school. And he's just, was smiling all around. He's one of those kids that just is having fun. So I think that has a lot to do with it. And yeah, for sure, Lorena's got other guys that can make an impact, even considering that some of their top guys haven't played the whole season, and Jaden Porter and Casey Taylor, for whatever reason, injuries and stuff. The people stepping up to fill in those roles are really, driving this team forward as well. So, I mean, you've got Colin Hill, who's their top receiver. Obviously, Caden Roberts has been doing it as a bit of a dual threat quarterback who hasn't had a lot of attention on him, or at least not from us this season. And, they really got the pieces together. And obviously, like talking to Coach Johnson, that their key really was just getting better every week, which, for a lot of times it feels like coach speak and it feels repetitive, but really it's that simple. So
yeah, maybe when we have the super-centex meeting, we'll go over to John Werner's house and we'll play darts on his dartboard. And just we'll just put names on the dartboard and flick them. Yeah, another guy I think that probably deserves mention as a guy I feel like could play multiple positions, has played multiple positions, and he's doing it at the 5A level, and that's London Smith. He has, I think they've used him more, I'm going to say exclusively as a receiver this year, but you don't want to burn a guy out. That's the one thing. You got to give it up for guys in like 2A that are playing two ways all the time. All those Mark kids are going both ways. But I think I have seen the game I covered of University. I think London did see some action on defense, but I want to say he gets the bulk of his snaps now at receiver. But certainly played some DB last year. I want to say he had 4 or 5 interceptions. So he's another guy I feel like, let's say Cade Bynum went down for University. Could London Smith take a snap and maybe get you some yards? I think so. I mean, he's that kind of dude. So, we like those guys. So DJ recently did a story on kickers, specifically Hispanic kickers, for Hispanic Heritage Month. Personally, I think it's a huge luxury in high school football when you have a good kicker. They're a difference maker in a variety of ways. Obviously, they can set their teams up nicely in field position with like booming kickoffs. And then, of course, you have those kickers who can finish off a game for you with a game-winning field goal. So you two have seen a lot of different teams this year. I've seen mostly Midway. Who's the best kicker that you have seen this season?
Oof.
Well, I know Chad's seen Armando Chavez. I haven't covered Mart this year, but I mean, that kid is good. I saw him last year, and that kid is, and obviously talking to him for that story, but that kid is good. I like Eric Ramos over at Marlin. He's a sophomore, and like Ruben Torres has said, he's been their most efficient kicker since he's been there. Obviously, I mean, James Webb and Carnston over at Lorena, they got a pretty good thing going on there. And wouldn't have won that game over Franklin if they hadn't executed there at the end. So, I mean, I'm trying to think of who else, because there's so many, right?
That's a good list. That's a good starting list.
Probably the front runner for our super-centex kicker is Sadie over at Midway, right?
So I had a tweet, I think maybe 2 games ago, and all I said in the tweet was James Satterfield appreciation tweet. The kid is really good, really good. He had a 48, 49 yarder a couple weeks ago. Yeah, he's got range. He puts it in the end zone on kickoffs. Yeah, I mean, he's really good. I think we've talked about this year, that one of the things that China Spring was maybe missing a little bit. Obviously they lost a very, very good kicker. I mean, they called him Mr. Automatic for a reason. And Thomas Barr now at Abilene Christian. So when you have one like that, and that can do all those things, like I said, I think it's a luxury. And good for James Webb last week, Chad, for finishing off a game.
Well, I was going to say, one of my refrains during football season at different times is "Mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be kickers."
Nice singing. Nice singing, Waylon.
Because, I mean, I feel like the kicker is the guy that goes out there with the game on the line. And it's like, all right, buddy, spotlight's on you. This is your first play all night, and kick the game winner or miss it, and kickers that miss multiple field goals in big games, man, it's bad news for those guys. We've seen a few of them over the years. I think we could all tell a kicker story or two, because you get that spotlight put on you and it's pass fail, baby. It's like, you don't get to do any extra credit or anything like that. It's like you're either the hero or GOAT doesn't mean the same thing as it used to, but you're either the hero or the bad guy.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
James. But to see James Webb and another kid was kicking extra points, and I wish I had his name at hand here. But so James Webb is their field goal kicker, and he went in there 34-yarder, and I was taking pictures, so I can't say if he put it right down in the middle of the uprights or not. But let me tell you this: his team celebrated.
Yeah, no doubt. So there's a little kicker love for you right there.
Mm-hmm,
Chad, I have his name. I have the other kid's name that did the.
Yeah. I think. Yep.
Carson Zekman, and he plays soccer. So
yeah, and you gave him a shout out in your column this week. So
Carson number 44, because I had taken his picture earlier in the game. I was trying to get an angle on the kicker because I didn't get one of Armando and Martin. I wish I had for your story.
So just a little bit for our viewers, listeners, whatever you want to call them, of how the sausage is made. I don't think anybody would be surprised to know that I do feed y'all what we're going to talk about ahead of time, so that you can at least prepare a little bit. However,
and as Dwight Schrute says, once you see the sausage being made, all you don't want to do is make sausage because it's so much fun.
I don't actually do a lot of research for these questions.
Okay, well, there you go. But at least you know what's coming most of the time. This particular next question, I did not give y'all ahead of time. So, and I did that on purpose, obviously. Do you know, it's not really a trick question, do you know who the highest ranked team in Central Texas is? That's going to be my segue into talking about them, but somebody guess.
Mart
would be a good guess. Obviously, they're second in their classification, but they're not the right answer. Chad?
It would have to be somebody that's number one.
It would have to be somebody that's number one.
Is it the Abbott Panthers?
No, not the Abbott Panthers.
I think Abbott's number 2, right?
What is Abbott ranked? They might be first. However, the team that I'm talking about, just to let the cat out of the bag, Methodist Children's Home. So if you go into the sixmanfootball.com rankings for their particular division in TCAF, right? They are number 1 in TCAP. Okay, I know you're looking at me, Chad, like this is a technicality.
You said it wasn't a trick question, and
that's
when
okay.
you talk about
Maybe it's a
TCAP
little bit of a
rankings.
trick question. It's a little bit of a trick question. But at the same time, they're not eligible to be in that Texas football 1A rankings. You know?
I get you. Abbott's number 3 in their TS ranking.
Okay. So MCH this year has played really well. I think Matt Rogers' team has a really good chance. So they have won state championship to their credit. It was about, I'm gonna say 5 or 6 years ago. Maybe 2017. That feels about right. But this
they're 50 in the Uber rankings, and that's really high. I mean, that's a high ranking
for a private school. Yeah. And if people don't know what Methodist Children's Home does, they really they're really helping a lot of boys out there. They typically like live on campus, and they sometimes come from troubled backgrounds, but I want to shout out both MCH and this kid, London Bickham, who I should look up his stats, but so he played for MCH 2 seasons ago as an 8th grader on the varsity. I don't know that you can even do that in UIL, but they could, I guess, can do it in TCAV. And he tore it up. He was a super-centex guy as an 8th grader. And then last year got hurt. So this year he's a sophomore, and he's got 14 and a half sacks. He's got like a ton of rushing yards, receiving yards. I think he's done some passing. I really want to get out and see MCH and see this London Bickham kid. And certainly, as they get closer to, their state championship game in TCAF, we'll put a spotlight on them a little bit more. But, we've talked a lot on the pod about who's kind of flying under the radar. I felt like, this is a good chance to talk about MCH. So there you go.
That is a great, MCH as an organization is one of, I don't know if calling it one of Waco's hidden gems is the right phrase or not, but it's such a great organization. They got a beautiful campus over there.
It really is beautiful. Yeah. I mean, it looks like a college campus.
I have one of my close friends, I call him my second family, brothers is in development over there. So I kind of get an inside look at what they do sometimes, and really cool organization. And, among our most consistent football programs.
They are. And I got to give Matt Rogers a big shout out on that. Matt's a great coach, great guy. I think he's really good for us to work with. Like, he gets us stats. His kids are always at photo day, so yeah, go MCH Bulldogs. And that's just a preview of a story I'll probably have DJ write at some point. There you go. And look, I didn't make y'all talk about MCH because that wouldn't have been fair, having not seen them or not knowing that I was going to let you talk about them. But
well, you were going to have me cover the MCH Vanguard game earlier in the year, and I opted for my normal night out reservation that I.
Yes, it was on a Thursday night, and I did say, "Hey, do you want to cover this? DJ's covering soccer," and you were like, "Yeah, I'm good." So Matt Rogers, I tried to get you some coverage, my friend, and Chad said, "Meh."
Hey, it was a 6-man game in September.
It was, but we're going to get out and see the MCH Bulldogs play. So there you go. There's a little MCH love. Wynn can slap some pictures from photo day in there.
It was a non-district 6-man game on a Thursday night in September. Right.
But it was 2 local private.
I am gung-ho, but I'm not crazy.
After all that love I just gave them, now you just got to bring it back.
No, hey, there's lots of good things to say about MCH, but.
All right, tell them where you're going this week, DJ.
I am going to Gatesville, baby.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
DJ is going
to Robinson, Gatesville. And sorry to the Robinson Rockets, but I'm not going to pick against the home team. especially because I want them to feed me.
They'll feed you either way. They will feed you either way. But I picked Gatesville as well. I'm with Chad. I think that's a complete toss-up game. It could go either way, but yeah, you're going to experience the magic of the Gatesville press box, and I am a little jealous.
I'll see if I can bring back a box.
Yeah, there you go. Chad, you will be at the Whitney Grandview game. That'll be fun.
Yeah, third season in a row I've gone to Grandview for a meaningful game because West and an odd quirk of district realignment and scheduling played at Grandview 2 years in a row. So this year it's Whitney playing at Grandview. That reminds me, I need to email the coach over there this afternoon and let him know I'm coming. But yeah, another kind of toss-up district championship type of game.
Yeah, and just to put it out there, I did flirt with the idea of letting Chad cover Midway this week. We talked about it at least, but with you going to Grandview, I am doing the Midway Weiss game. Should be fun. We'll see if the Panthers can give Weiss a tussle and maybe earn a share of a district championship. At any rate, they did clinch a playoff spot last week. And of course, they'll have a bye in week 11, so they'll have 2 weeks to prepare for the playoffs. So,
and it's going to be Waxahachie, by the way.
Yeah, Midway Waxahachie, which, to me, feels like a victory in the sense of, I'm not saying it's a automatic Midway victory. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it feels like a win that you avoided Duncanville DeSoto, right? Amen. Yes.
Ain't no doubt about that one.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Thanks for hopping on. We'll see y'all at the games. Peace out.